Sup, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing I want to talk about today is big entertainment and internet news thanks to YouTube. There are events companies have each year called New Fronts, and it's essentially those companies announcing and showing the new slate of shows that advertisers can get involved in. And YouTube has one called Brandcast, and two notable things happened. And the first thing was that the CEO of YouTube apologized to advertisers, saying the last several weeks have been challenging for some of you, and you've told us to do better when it comes to ad placement. I want you to know that we have taken your feedback to heart. We work hard every day to earn our advertisers and agencies' trust, and we apologize for letting some of you down. I'm here to say that we can and we will do better. And I feel like it could be very easy to hate on those statements. There are a lot of creators right now that are panicking because their AdSense is screwed. I mean, one of the several reasons I started DeFranco Elite was because I saw my AdSense decimated. You also have other massive creators like H3H3 Productions, PewDiePie embracing Twitch, something they could have done on YouTube, but because of the situation, they're embracing other places, other methods. So you could look at Susan's statement and go, oh my god, things are gonna get worse. I, while very critical of YouTube, am also going to just kind of watch for a month and a half. The sense I've gotten from talking with YouTube is that they have something in place that is a program that learns. The idea being that what is not advertiser friendly will initially be strict while the program learns what is actually okay. That said, don't take my words as, oh, everything's okay, guys. If it still is too strict, it is hitting people that it's not supposed to hit, you do need to be vocal about it. One, it's a very large company and a lot of the times they do not know things are happening. And two, sometimes they need to know that a problem is not small, it is affecting a large number of users. Right now I'm waiting, I'm watching. Although I did want to highlight something else Susan said. I like this, it was a reminder to advertisers. She said, YouTube is not TV and we never will be. The platform that you all helped create represents something bigger. Our users don't come to YouTube for polish, they come to YouTube for texture. They come to see the world as it truly is, filled with people just like themselves. They come to witness our shared humanity. And I will say, leaders of YouTube past and present, that is probably the most accurate statement I've ever heard out of one of their mouths. It's not polish over texture, it is substance over everything. We are not a passive viewing experience, we are more connected and thus will be more raw. But, and this is kind of connected, the other notable thing that YouTube did is they announced a new slate of shows! These aren't YouTube Red series, these are YouTube ad-backed programs. You got series from Ryan Seacrest, Ellen DeGeneres, Demi Lovato, Katy Perry, Kevin Hart, also some YouTubers. Slow Mo Guys are launching the Super Slow Show, Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning are producing some content, and I will say I'm a little torn on this. I like to see YouTubers thrust up and given the ability to make something bigger than something they've done before, more than mainstream coming to YouTube. But this is also YouTube's way to show advertisers, hey look, we have this premium content, you can put your money here, maybe you advertise heavily on Kevin Hart's show, and then maybe you do also a big overall deal. Then once Kevin Hart's show is done, maybe they spread it around even more. Some also arguing that the inclusion of mainstream talent on YouTube with these premium shows, it also legitimizes YouTubers. Although others are worried that maybe this is telling of what YouTube's going to do in the future. That they're going to go more family friendly, they're going to go mainstream famous rather than allowing a platform which really has allowed nobodies to become somebodies. But to that I say, YouTube's done similar things to this in the past where they gave money to people to produce content. And what we saw over the period of them doing that, pretty much everyone that survived were YouTubers before they got the money. And that's because, as the CEO of YouTube said, it's not so much about polish, it's about texture. But we'll see, it's all going to come down to execution. The execution of the people actually making this and the way YouTube handles it. How YouTube promotes these shows when they launch, that could be the thing that makes people embrace them or leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Especially if the promotion of this premium content in any way seems like they're pushing down everyday YouTubers. But I'm rooting for it all to be successful. But a question I want to pass off to you, what is your takeaway from this? Do you think that YouTube's doing the right thing, the smart thing, or no, you think they're prioritizing others? This is a bad move, it's gonna hurt YouTube or YouTubers. I'd love to know your thoughts here. But from there, I want to share some stuff I love today and Today in Awesome. And the first bit of awesome today is you. The amount of support and belief you showed in me after the Monday announcement video last week of me going solo, me wanting to build out a news network, I was shaking and getting choked up watching the initial reaction. Your support, and I don't just mean the 14,000 of you who have signed up for DeFranco Elite and you are supporting that way. I mean, everyone's just excited. People sharing it with their friends, their family, whoever's interested in news. Thanks to you, I can run independent, I can build something independent, we can thrive independent. If YouTube decides to shake our tree more, they put us in more advertiser-unfriendly categories, it doesn't matter because we have roots. So whether you supported me through DeFranco Elite, you just watched, thank you for being on this ride. This is the beginning of a long road that will be riddled with success and failures. We're going to be building and experimenting in public. There will be things that you do not like, but that's also part of the process, especially if we're making things with you. But all I know is I'm just so excited. Then we gotta talk movies and trailers. We got a brand new trailer for House of Cards Season 5, and yes please, this will be the longest 22 2-day wait ever. One of my favorite series, even though it had that one season that was kinda eh. But then it came back strong, and that's why I'm excited for season 5. Then we got a trailer for the movie Dunkirk, and I have to say Christopher Nolan he is a master at making me feel anxious. Then we got a trailer for The Dark Tower, which looks amazing. I'm gonna lose some nerd cred here. I have not read the novels by Stephen King, but I am so pumped to watch this movie, and then I think I'll read it afterwards. There's part of me that's starting to hate more and more when I've read the books and then I watch something. Because the entire time I'm like, oh, well, it's interesting that it include that. Oh, so they completely changed the end to The Martian, where that thing he jokingly said he wished he could do, he actually did. Interesting. I still like the movie, but I'm just gonna be a judgmental prick about it. Then we got the final Wonder Woman trailer, and it looks fantastic. I think this is going to be the first DC superhero movie I've watched in a movie theater since the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, I've seen them, but I just don't want to pay movie theater prices. I watched Suicide Squad on a plane. Then we got a first look at It, and I have to be honest, it actually does look good. And if the trailer is any indication, it looks like the child acting is going to be good, which is a make or break for a lot of movies like this. And remember, if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. Then let's talk about Pepe the Frog in the news because he has gone the way of Harambe. He's dead. His creator, Matt Fury, killed him off. For those of you who have an internet connection but have not somehow come across the Pepe the Frog meme, he was a cartoon. People started memeing with him, but then it took a very weird turn. Some people started using the meme for anti-Semitic comments, white supremacist comments. So much so, and you may remember this, we talked about it during the election, Hillary Clinton's website included a whole article about Pepe the Frog, saying it was an alt-right hate symbol. The Anti-Defamation League even included Pepe the Frog as a hate symbol. Now, in response to this, at the time, Fury said that this was just a phase, saying it's completely insane that Pepe has been labeled a symbol of hate, but in the end, Pepe is whatever you say he is, and I, the creator, say Pepe is love. But I guess, given enough time, he decided to kill the frog. Now, what I will say is I still believe in what Fury originally said. When it comes to memes, when it comes out to what you're putting out on the internet, you make it whatever you want it to be. You can take that meme of Kermit sipping his tea and then turn that into a 9/11 post, but that doesn't mean that Kermit supports 9/11. And I also believe to some degree that Fury knows that this is not going to stop people using Pepe the Frog as a meme. Hell, most everyone I talked to about this didn't even know the original source of the image. And also, the moment people realize that maybe you don't want them to use something, they're going to use it. We see examples of this every single week, including, I mentioned him earlier, Harambe. People were posting Harambe meme after Harambe meme. The zoo said, hey, could you not? And what do you think happened? Everyone calmed down, stopped posting? No! That's not how the internet works. And so with that, I say rip Pepe, even though I'm pretty sure I'm going to see more of you than ever now. Then let's talk about our douchebag of the day, the garbage pile of a person, and that is 57-year-old Stephen Chase. According to the FBI, Stephen had created the world's largest child pornography website. He was arrested in early 2015 after police searched his home and reportedly found thousands of images depicting the sexual abuse of children, many of whom were said to be barely kindergarten age. In September, Chase was found guilty of engaging in a child exploitation enterprise and for the possession, advertisement, and transportation of child pornography. And so now the big update is after being found guilty, he has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. And I say good, he's 58, hopefully he has to serve out the entire sentence, and hey, if old age takes him, he never sets a foot outside of prison, I think the world's maybe a slightly safer place. Now, if you haven't heard of this story before, there is also a bit of controversy around it. And the reason for that was after Stevens was arrested, the FBI took over control of his website. A website that it's just disgusting. Allegedly had between 150 to 250,000 members. The reports on it vary. Instead of just killing the website, cutting off the access, the FBI allowed the website to run for 2 more weeks so they could give malware to the people on the website so they could find out who they were. This has led to the prosecution of 25 US producers of child pornography, the prosecution of 51 US-based hands-on abusers, 55 US children who have successfully been identified or rescued, 296 sexually abused children identified or rescued internationally, 350 US arrests, and 548 international arrests. Obviously a much bigger takedown because they allowed for those 2 weeks and they were able to track people, so the FBI was getting praise. There are also people angry that the FBI, through just one warrant, were able to track so many people. Although I will say I personally side with the FBI here. And that's because the way that I think of it is I think of this website as a physical location. The FBI got a warrant, they kicked down the door to a child porn dungeon. They arrested the owner of the establishment, they put someone in his place, and then when people, criminals, did something illegal in this establishment, they were then tracked. And in fact, the only thing I'm disappointed by is the thought that there were about 250,000 people using this website, and we have hundreds of arrests. In the grand scheme of things, there's still just a drop in the bucket, and that depresses me. It just makes me wish we could figure out a way to Pied Piper all of these people hurting children and sharing footage of children being hurt into a trash compactor. And let's talk about fake news, asterisk. And the reason I put an asterisk on it is it is what it is, but some people believe something is happening that is not happening. And so much of this is stemming from a 5-second clip on Twitter that has over 150,000 retweets retweets.
Okay?
Now, seeing that clip, you saw one of two things. One, Donald Trump torn down by a little girl. Or two, a man who is very obviously not Donald Trump impersonating Donald Trump getting torn down by a little girl. Now, for those of you that saw number one, white people don't look the same, you racist, he said sarcastically. But seemingly from the response on Twitter, there were a lot of people that thought it was really Donald Trump. There were also those that were aware that was not Donald Trump, but knew that the little girl probably didn't and loved her for it still. And then there were people that claimed that the whole thing was fake. Not only did you have the Donald Trump impersonator, but the little girl was an actress. Now, in response to that final theory, the Donald Trump impersonator said no, that was just a little girl that was out there on the street. It was not a fed line, it wasn't scripted, adding that the little girl was brave, funny, and smart. She said that of her own volition. So that's why I say fake news asterisk, and I arm you with the information to make your friends who shared it thinking it was 100% real. You get to make them feel stupid for a second. Really, isn't that like 30% of the reason you watch this show? And then let's talk about a story I need to update. Now, much of this update happened last week. Of course, I didn't post last week, but I feel like it's important to bring you up to speed. And that update is around the Daddy of Five YouTube scandal, everything happening with Michael Martin and his family. Where we last left this story, after all the outrage the police were investigating, the biological mother was trying to get her kids back. Also because Michael Martin privated every video except one on the channel, hiding all of that disturbing content. The police were reportedly having a hard time finding videos so that they could review them, so myself and many others then provided them the entire archive, which people had downloaded before all the videos went private. And the big update to this story is that Mike and Heather Martin have temporarily lost custody of Cody and Emma. The biological mother, Rose Hall, saying in a video that she had been granted emergency custody. And in the video, the biological mother said, you know, the kids, they didn't really know how to understand this change at first. Rose saying Cody told her that Mike said that his mom didn't want him, adding that the kids were being deprogrammed, they were adjusting. You do also know that there was a hearing last Friday, but that was subject to a gag order, so there's really not much information out about that. And a final note I have on this story today is I am just happy to see that something is happening. Because really, like I've said multiple times while covering this story is about just kids being safe. I've also seen in this past week that this story has blown up to an international level. I see a lot of people crediting me as the person who broke the story, and what I will say is my videos, they got out to millions of people and they informed people of what was happening. The real heroes of this story, you have independent journalists like Nick Monroe and so many other people that saw something and decided to do something about it. But as far as what will ultimately happen with the kids, we'll have to wait and see. And that's actually where I'm gonna end today's show. And remember, if you like this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you missed the launch video of DeFranco Elite, you can click or tap right there to watch it. If you want to see the new behind the scenes video from today, you can click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.